Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 2nd of August and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis. So guys, let's start with the discussion. In the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire Hindu newspaper analysis along with the background as well as the way forwards in the issues. Now guys, before starting up, I would like to remind you that you can download this explainer PDF from the Telegram channel, and the link for the Telegram channel has been given in the description box. Now, before starting up, first of all, let's see the overview of the entire newspaper in order to understand that which articles are important. Now guys, starting up, so first article here we can see that is about the Sanjay Raut, who has been sent to ED custody. So guys, this is a political article, no need to read this particular article. GST levies won't burden the poor. So basically guys, recently the GST council has taken a decision where many of the items have been shifted into the GST brackets, and on that particular thing there was a criticism. So the government is saying that it will not going to impact the poor. However, again, with respect to the exam, much substance is not there. Fine. West Bengal cabinet shuffle, not important article for the examination. Fine. These many people have been killed in a hospital fire. Okay, and these 5G auctions are going on guys. So basically what have been the auctions, how much money is being staked, you don't need to follow this particular kind of a thing, not important for your examination. GST collection jumps by 28% on the imports. Now guys, these particular datas are going to change every month, so guys you cannot track this monthly data. Fine. So therefore again, this particular thing is even not important. So guys, coming in, therefore on the page number 1, much of the important and relevant article for our examinations have not been there. Then moving to the city section, so the excise policy, the alcohol shops are closed and all these things have been mentioned. Second monkeypox case, fine, it has been mentioned. Okay, then moving on, after that guys, in this particular direction as we move, fine, we will be reaching to the editorial page. So guys, in between from the page number 1 till the editorial page, much of the relevant articles are not there. Fine. So monkeypox cases, the people have died. Okay, so basically all these regional issues etc are there. Now guys, you might be having a different edition of the Hindu newspaper, so there these different issues will be different. So sometimes only some important articles are there, otherwise the regional issues are there which are not important for the exam. Now coming to the editorial page, re-engineering the India's consciousness. So guys, this particular article, it is talking about that how the BJP, it is spreading its narrative, how the RSS is spreading its, what are their different policies to mobilize the people and all these things. With respect to UPSC, it is a political article, so therefore not important. Now this article is an important article. It talks about the rupee ruble arrangement and how this rupee ruble arrangement can be used for enhancing the export. We'll see this article. Fine. Unpacking a conundrum. So guys, this particular article talks about the monkeypox issue. So guys, the monkeypox, all the articles will be clubbing along with this article and we'll see. Then this article is talking about the language. Recently the home minister has provided this thing that the engineering courses, law courses etc, medical courses needs to be provided in the regional languages. So we'll see this particular article in that respect. Government's own gig workers. So this article talks about that government over the past few years have focused more on hiring the contractual workers. So what are the implications and all these things we'll see. So then this working towards the animal health. So idea of One Health has been discussed. We'll see this particular article also. Then guys, moving on, text and the context page, the alpha fold has been discussed. We'll see that what this is with respect to the science and technology. Then a dwindling fighter strength of the IF, we'll see this particular article also. Fine. Then guys, the Buster's wheel of justice grind exceedingly slow. So this article also will see briefly that what has been provided here, guys. So just kind of a judicial, basically the under trials conditions when the judicial hearings are suspended. We'll see that thing. Then moving on, after that, Soli arrives amid anti-India stir in the Maldives. So guys, basically we see this particular issue that the basically when we talk about the Maldives is an important country with respect to India. Okay, right now into the Maldives there is India out campaign or India anti-India campaign is going on because the opposition parties don't want that the Maldives should have the closeness with the India. But even in this particular direction, we have seen that the Maldivian president has visited India. So guys, we'll see that what will be the outcomes of this particular meet. Fine. However, no need to go too much into the detail. Then moving on, after that the political issues etc. has been discussed, not important. Bill for Ghati Shakti University. So we will see that what is this Ghati Shakti University and how it will help in arranging the human resource for the transportation sector. Har Ghar Tiranga, taking the national flag into homes. So basically guys, the Prime Minister as well as the government has provided that from 2 August to 15 August, the homes, they should unfurl, they should have the Tiranga flag stationed on them. Fine on all these particular things. Then suspension of Congress MPs revoked. So guys, we have seen that over the past few days, many of the MPs have been suspended, and that particular thing was criticized. It was said that if all the MPs will be suspended, what will be the meaning of the parliament? So now some of the suspensions have been revoked back. Then India shares a concern over the Chinese ship. So guys, see, basically what is this issue? One of a Chinese ship, it was scheduled to it was said that the Chinese ship will be scheduled at the Sri Lankan port. Now guys, this particular thing has not been liked by India, and India had said that if the Chinese ship will be docked into the Sri Lanka, that particular thing will establish a kind of a practice, and this particular thing might impact the India's national security. Clear. Opposition slams center in Lok Sabha. So guys, in the Lok Sabha, the government is being cornered on the inflation, price rise, GST and all these things. Then center constitutes task force to monitor monkeypox, need right strategies in the right groups. So guys, we'll club both of these articles in the editorial section. Then the rainfall pattern etc. has been discussed, okay, and all these issues are there, not at all important. Fine. Irani daughter not honors in the Goa restaurant, political article. Fine. Center state alerts to set up vigilance over the IAS threat, okay. Then coming to the world page, amid China warnings, Pelosi to visit Taiwan report. So guys, basically the US's House of Representatives speaker has visiting the Asia, and there she said that she might visit to the Taiwan. Now as she is visiting the Taiwan, China had not liked this particular thing, because China says Taiwan is the part of their Taiwan is not an independent country. China feels that Taiwan is a part of mainland China only, and there if the US speaker is visiting, China sees that it is undermining their own national interest. So this is something that is going on. Iran has means to make atom bomb but no intention of doing so. So uranium enrichment of Iran, we are seeing it. Sri Lanka seeks urgent help to feed children because of the food crisis that is going on there. Then manufacturing PMI hits 8-month high. Okay, passenger vehicle sale rise on better chip supply, ITC Q1 profits, Sensex gain 1%, all these things are there. Now guys, see, all these are the evolutionary kind of details. Fine, these details actually will be changing every week, every month. So by the time your exam will come, these things have been changed. Moreover, on these questions, these factual things, the question are not asked into the UPSC examination. So much relevant substance is not there. Then we have the sports page. Okay, so guys, now let's take all the discussion of all these relevant articles one by one in the detail. And guys, understand this particular thing, that what is the logic of showing you the overview of the newspaper. The logic is to teach you an art to identify that which articles are redundant for examination and which articles are actually important. See, at the end of the day, you should not take more than 1.5 hours maximum to read the newspaper, and for that thing you need to learn an art to how filter the articles. Okay, now let's start the discussion. So guys, every class we start the discussion with the GS quotation. So today we are going to take the quotation from the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. So Dr. Ambedkar says that a great man is different from an eminent one because he is ready to be the servant of the society. So guys, a great man, okay, and an eminent man, they are different. Okay, a great man is one who might not be rich, who might not be having a lot of power, but always he has a desire to be the servant of the society, to serve the society. And even Gandhiji had said that the service of the others is the surest way to rediscover of yourself. So the spirit of service, spirit of serving to the society, spirit to be a servant is the real thing which is needed. And even this particular quality is needed in the civil servant, public servant. We can use this particular idea in the GS paper number 4, values for a foundational values for a civil servant. So please use this particular quotation, and now we'll move to the first article. AlphaFold, a tour de force in science. Okay, so guys, this AlphaFold has been discussed here. We'll understand this entire issue, and this particular issue could be very important for our GS paper number 3, Science and Tech. science and tech, as well as this particular issue could be important for the prelims examination question related to the science and technology. Okay, let's start with the discussion. Now guys, basically, first of all, I would like to tell you some of a background, and after understanding this background, we'll understand this particular article. Okay, so proteins. Now proteins play a very important role in our body. When we talk about the proteins are made up of amino acids. The proteins, they are the large and the complex molecules. Now the proteins, they are coded or they are created in the ribosomes. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing, that basically the proteins are the basic building blocks of the cell. Okay, we first of all, we have a particular kind of a DNA. Okay, now basically guys, on to this particular basis of the DNA, ribosomes, on the basis of the DNA, the ribosomes, they create the different proteins in our body, and these proteins make up our body tissues, they make our body organs. Are you getting it or not? So proteins are the basic building block of a cell. Now guys, when we talk about the proteins, understanding the structures of the protein has been a very important thing, because if we understand the protein's structure, the 3D structure of a protein, we can understand many of the diseases that are there in the body which have not been explained over the few years. And guys, the scientists, they are trying to understand the structure of these proteins, because they make up our tissues, they make up our organs, they are the basic blocks of the cell. So scientists are trying to understand their structures from so many of the years. In this particular direction, one very big achievement has happened. So guys, one of a company by the name DeepMind. Now this DeepMind, it is a company owned by Google. Now they had provided that actually they had created the 3-dimensional 3D structures of more than 200 million proteins. Now guys, as of now, when we talk about the proteins, there are the different type of proteins that are created, and 200 million different types of proteins are there, and all of those proteins, the 3D structures have been created by this DeepMind. How? By using this AlphaFold. Now guys, what is this AlphaFold? AlphaFold, it is an artificial intelligence based protein structure prediction tool, and it is based on the computer system called deep neural network. Now guys, what is this deep neural network? Let's understand it in very simple words. So basically guys, suppose this is a human brain. Now in human brain, there are the neural networks. These are the neural networks. These are very dense branch like structures that are there in our brain. Now these neurons, the neurons that we have in our brain, they contain information. They connect information with each other. They make patterns, and by that particular thing, they create knowledge. Okay. Now guys, basically the way in which our brain has the different neurons, in this particular way, imitating that particular thing, artificial neural networks, strong computer programs have been made. Now guys, these computer programs, they are fed with the knowledge, they connect the information with each other, and they predict certain patterns, they predict certain knowledge patterns. Now guys, you take our example, how the human intelligence works. Okay, you learn a lot of things. You are reading a lot of things, then you make connections between these things, and then your knowledge is formed. Okay, for example, even if I am telling you something today, how I am able to tell you something, how I am able to give you some knowledge, because I have read something into the past, I connect those things, and I am able to deliver you some knowledge, some pattern. So our neural networks in the brain works in this particular way. So artificial neural network, it is a computer program where the computer is fed with a lot of information, and then automatically it makes the patterns out of these informations by using the artificial intelligence. So guys, this AlphaFold, it is an artificial intelligence based program which predicts the structures of the protein. So guys, as of now, whatever the knowledge we have about the proteins, their structures into the 2D, okay, or whatever the thing we have, all this information has been fed into this AlphaFold program, and it has predicted the 3D patterns of the protein structures. It basically it is trained on the same basis as the human mind is trained. So we learn by training, learning, retraining, relearning. So into this particular thing, in multiple phases the information has been fed, and this AlphaFold has provided the 3D structures of more than 200 million proteins that are there. Now guys, this is very important, because I told you that the protein carry out all the functions inside the living cell, and knowing these protein structures is very important to knowing the human diseases. Now guys, I will give you one very basic example. COVID-19. Now guys, you know this particular thing, that SARS-CoV-2 virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, how it gets entry into the human body. It uses the spike protein. It uses the spike protein. Fine, you might have heard that by using the spike protein, it gets the entry in human body. So if we understand this particular protein in great sense, obviously we can identify more better vaccines. We can identify more better treatments to kill this COVID-19 virus. So guys, knowing the viruses knowing the protein structure is very important. As of now, the scientists have used the different techniques to know the protein structures. For example, X-ray, crystallography they were using, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, cryogenic electron microscopy, all these particular methodologies they were using. But guys, they were very much time consuming and they were based on to the trial and error methods. Fine, the results were coming in months and years. But now what can happen? By this particular artificial intelligence tool, in no time, all the protein structures have been predicted, and it will help in knowing the COVID-19 virus protein and will help in fighting even the future pandemics with an efficiency. Moreover guys, understand this also might have one negative implication also. What is the negative implication? Guys, see, as of now, when this strong artificial intelligence program was not there, scientists were actually involved in all these particular kind of discoveries. But now as they will come, the scientist communities might feel threatened because their work might become redundant. Okay, in these processes artificial intelligence will come. But guys, we need not to see it into that particular way. Rather, we need to see that the artificial intelligence can actually complement the scientist, can play a supportive role, and by that particular thing the drug discovery will be fastened. Guys, see, understand this particular thing, that when you have to make a drug, how the drug will be reacting with many other components, many other substances. For this particular thing, we have to carry a study. Right now, this study is taking years, but with the artificial intelligence, all this particular thing can be done in a matter of few minutes. Okay, so actually the artificial intelligence can play a supportive role. Okay, so this particular thing is to be leveraged, and this is something very great that has happened. So guys, AlphaFold, now even the UPSC has asked these questions that, okay, for example, the Goldilocks zones were into the news. What are they? This kind of a thing has been asked. So into this particular direction, question could be asked. So that is all. Now we'll move to the next one. The dwindling fighter strength of the Indian Air Force, IAF. Okay, this particular article we will see with respect to the GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, India's defense capabilities. India's defense capabilities. Okay, even this particular dimension could be used in our GS paper number 2 also. Fine, so India's defense capabilities. Now guys, understand, before going in this particular article, I would like to tell you some of a background. So what is the background? The background is that just last week, one of a fighter jet of Indian Air Forces have crashed in the Rajasthan, and because of that particular thing, a debate has started that whether the aircrafts of the Indian Air Forces are fit, whether they can fly. Moreover, so many of the aircrafts have crashed over the so many of the years. So where our aircraft arsenal is moving? Do we have enough number of aircrafts that we can sustain the two-front war, which is a real threat into the present times? So all these particular things we are going to understand in this particular article. Okay, so guys, first of all, let's understand this two-front war. Okay, two-front war. Now understand that India is actually sandwiched between the two hostile neighbors. Okay, on one hand we have the Pakistan. Okay, on another hand we have the China. So India is sandwiched between two hostile neighbors, and both of them had carried the anti-India campaigns again into the past. Moreover guys, not only both are the hostile, but the Pakistan and China, they have also formed a kind of a nexus, and in this particular capacity, the China and Pakistan might jointly they carry a kind of an attack against the India. So therefore India should be prepared to fight a war at the two fronts. On one hand Pakistan, on one hand China, and even there needs to be also a need that on the third front, that is onto the front of our oceans, our seas also, we need to have capabilities. Now guys, when the war is concerned, the air force or the air power of a country plays a very important role, and guys, in this capacity Indian Air Force role become very important. Now guys, when we talk about the Indian Air Force, it has right now the 42 squadrons. Basically right now the Indian Air Force, its sanctioned strength, Indian Air Force, its sanctioned strength is 42 squadrons. 42 squadrons. Now guys, when we talk about one squadron, in one squadron there are 16 to 18 aircrafts. Okay, so in one squadron there are 16 to 18 aircrafts, and total Indian Air Force, it has a sanctioned strength of 42 squadrons. But guys, over the past few years, the 42 squadrons strength is actually not there, it has reduced. Fine, so from the 42 sanctioned strength, we are actually having the 32 fighter squadrons. In this, different squadrons are made up of the different type of aircrafts. For example, 12 squadrons are of Su-30 MKI, 6 squadrons are of Jaguar aircrafts, 4 squadrons are of the MiG-21, 3 squadrons are of the Mirage 2000, then MiG-29, 3 squadrons, LCA Tejas, light combat aircraft, LCA Tejas, we have the 2 squadrons, and you might be knowing that we have procured from the France the Rafale jets. 36 Rafale jets were procured, and these 36 Rafale jets have made the 2 squadrons. So this is the present strength of the Indian Air Force, 32 squadrons. But what is sanctioned? Sanctioned is 42 squadrons. Why? We have 10 squadrons less. We have 12 squadrons less simply because we don't have the aircrafts. Where India's aircraft went? Our aircrafts have, many of them have crashed, many of them are about to retire. So basically, guys, again come back here. I told you that India is facing a threat of the two-front war. In this particular thing, air power will play an important role, but you see that from the 42 we have reached to 32 strength. In this particular direction, guys, the MiG-21, which actually have the 4 squadrons, these kind of an aircraft whose viability has been questioned into the recent times. Even guys, recently I have told you last week one accident had happened, that is the accident of the MiG-21. Now guys, when we talk about the MiG-21 aircraft were inducted into the Indian Air Force in 1963, and since then more than 870 aircrafts belonging to this MiG-21 category have been procured by India. Even into this MiG-21, there is now one version of this MiG-21 that we are using, that is MiG-21 Bison. Now guys, this is an improved version of the MiG-21, but guys, even these aircrafts, it has been said that their safety, their air viability is questionable. Guys, I was just telling you that since 1963 we have procured more than 870 MiGs, and guys, out of that 400 accidents actually have happened. Okay, 400 accidents of the MiG-21 has happened out of the 870 plus. So we can see that around 50% of the aircrafts have crashed, and large number of pilots, co-pilots, they have died in these particular crashes. So basically the question is being raised that we are operating this MiG-21. Okay, now this MiG-21 has already been retired by the Soviet Union in 1985, but still we are using them. They are so much old. Fine. Now guys, the government has provided this particular thing, that the technical life of these aircrafts, it is still left. Okay, so we cannot retire it. Moreover, we don't have right now the aircrafts. Okay, procurement have been very much delayed, and if we will retire them right now, India's air power will go even too much down. Is it clear or not? So this is something that is happening. Now guys, over the last few years, we have inducted the 2 squadrons of the LCA Tejas, and the 2 squadrons of the Rafale jets have been procured. Fine, but still we need to do much more in this particular direction. We need to procure more fighter jets as soon as possible, and we need to retire the aircrafts which are reaching their near basically lifetime end. Okay, so this is something which has happened. Now guys, this article is a kind of an important article to enhance your awareness about the India's defense capability. So I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. Bill for Ghati Shakti University introduced in Lok Sabha. Now this particular article, guys, we will be seeing with respect to GS paper number 3, steps that the government has taken to enhance the infrastructure in India. Clear? Now guys, before moving in this particular article, I would like to tell you some of a background information which is very much important. Now listen this particular thing. Guys, just last year on the Independence Day, the Prime Minister of India has announced the Ghati Shakti initiative. Ghati Shakti initiative. Now in this Gati Shakti initiative, more than 100 lakh crore rupees will be invested in the infrastructure. Ports, highways, railways, all these infrastructure will be developed under the Gati Shakti plan, which is more than 100 lakh crore rupees plan. Now guys, okay, everything is fine, but there have been some challenges on the implementation of this Gati Shakti. We say that actually we don't have the trained human resource, we don't have good engineers, we don't have human resource, we don't have good engineers who can help in the construction of these facilities, highways, ports, and all these particular kind of things. So therefore, to solve that particular kind of a problem, what has happened now, the government has brought a bill, and this bill is Central University Amendment Bill 2022, and by this particular bill the government says that they are going to change the National Rail and Transport Institution into the Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, Gati Shakti University, which will be an autonomous central university. Now this Gati Shakti University that will be created, what it will do, it will address the need for talent in the strategically important and expanding transportation sector. It will provide the architects, it will provide the engineers, it will provide the design engineers, okay, and this particular thing will help in fueling the growth of the transportation sector in India. Guys, basically it has been said that over the years we have seen the brain drain where the trained youth are going out, but basically today we want to reverse the brain drain. We will be training the youth into this Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya so that they can become equipped engineers, and then they will be they will be given even the doctoral degrees in transportation, and then they will be roped into the transportation sector. Is it clear? So this is something that has happened, and moreover this university will not only be training the youth, will also be doing the research and development in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of the transportation sector. So critically needed research and development will also be done. Innovative technologies will be be created. How the technology adoption in the transportation sector can be done, it will be done. So all these will be the objectives of this Gati Shakti University that is being created now. Fine guys, no, it is not a greenfield project. It means that from scratch a university is not being prepared, rather the existing this National Rail and Transportation Institute, it is being converted in this Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya or Gati Shakti University. Is it clear? So a lot of, now please use this particular reference in your infrastructure related answer, that what government is doing. Now whenever an infrastructure answer comes, we just struck on few points that okay, what government has done to mobilize the finance, what another initiatives government has done, but we fail to address that there is also a need for human resource, because even if you have money, even if you have plan, who will implement it? It will be implemented by the trained human resource, and for that particular thing it is a good initiative that has been taken up. So that is all about this one, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, unpacking a conundrum. So guys, on monkeypox, many articles have come in the Hindu newspaper. This article has come into the editorial section, then this particular article has come, then this particular article has come, and then in the regional section also there are 2-3 articles onto the monkeypox that has come. So guys, see, first of all we need to see about this monkeypox with respect to the GS paper number 2 health, but you don't need to track this monkeypox issue on every day. Okay, why you need not to track it on every day? Because guys, this particular thing, it is a health issue and it will evolve. Many new findings will be coming. You will not be able to keep a track of everyday development, so therefore not needed. Moreover, these kind of such evolutionary developments are not even asked into the UPSC examination. They ask the broad thematic questions. Fine. Now, first of all guys, basically the article here, it is talking about one of a death of a person because of the monkeypox that had happened in the Kerala. So the details of that particular case are being told. Fine. Now this personal account is not important. Now guys, when we talk about the monkeypox, let's try to understand this. So guys, the monkeypox, it is a zoonotic disease. What is a zoonotic disease? Zoonotic disease means a disease which got originated in an animal. So the animal is a natural host, and actually from animal it is transferred to a human. Humans are the accidental host, and when the humans are the accidental host, they get ill with a particular kind of a virus. So the monkeypox, it is a viral, it means that it spreads through transmission. Zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease means that its transmission is from animal to human. Originally it was found into the animal, and from animal it has been transmitted to the humans. Now guys, when we talk about, it is a pox-like disease which was first found in the monkeys. Okay, it was a pox-like disease. It creates a kind of a lesions on your body, and it was first identified in monkey. But actually from which animal it came, that particular origin has not been known up till now. Please keep it in your mind. Fine, it was found in monkeys, so therefore we call it as monkeypox. But the original natural host of the virus, it is still unidentified. Okay, now guys, this monkeypox virus, this monkeypox disease, or it is caused by the monkeypox virus, it belongs to the orthopox virus genus. Which orthopox virus genus? It belongs to the family of poxviridae. So first there is a family, then comes the genus. So poxviridae family, within that the orthopox virus, and within this orthopox there is monkeypox. I hope you understood this particular hierarchy. Now guys, when we talk about this monkeypox, it is not something new. It has been reported since 1970s. Okay, and it was for the first time it was found into the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now the Nigeria is a country where this particular thing is endemic. Okay, at a sporadic regular intervals it's found there. Fine. Now guys, 11 countries in the Africa are there where the regular outbreaks have been there. But guys, see, actually since 1970s this monkeypox virus has been ignored. Why? Because it was restricted into the Africa, it was not spreading to other countries, and because of that particular thing no much attention was given. But now it has spread to majority of the European countries as well as into the North America, and now it is being found that this virus is now mutating at a much higher rate than earlier. So therefore this is actually a kind of a concern. Now guys, when we talk about this monkeypox virus, fine, the infection with the monkeypox can be divided in two parts. Fine. Invasion period, which lasts from 0 to 5 days, and then the basically symptoms emerge. What are the symptoms? Fever, headache, okay, back pain, okay, myalgia, intense asthenia, okay, lymphadenopathy. Okay, these are all the symptoms of this particular signs of this particular monkeypox virus. And then there are the skin eruptions. So these kind of lesions, skin eruptions also come on the body. Fine, it comes in 1 to 3 days after infection. Then first of all there is a rash, and this particular rash converts into these kind of lesions. Sometimes these rash, they are filled with some kind of a water kind of a substance, and then from these particular rashes, from these particular lesions that are there into the body, they could transmit the monkeypox to some another person. Moreover, from respiratory droplets, this monkeypox virus can be spread to some another person. Is it clear? Moreover guys, it also spreads in the man who have the sexual intercourse with another man. So in the men to men sex intercourse, this particular thing also spreads. Fine. So these are something. Now guys, when we talk about the monkeypox, it is not, basically the spreading rate is not that fast. Okay, only it will spread to another person if a person has been in close contact with a person who was already infected, and the person needs to be in contact for at least 2-3 hours. Now guys, when we talk about the WHO, the WHO had said that the monkeypox transmission, it has been declared as a public health emergency of international concern. Why? The WHO says that, see, this particular virus, the fatality is very much less. It is not that much dangerous, but still we have converted it into the public health emergency of international concern, so that the countries, they become more serious, because guys, already we have seen the pandemic of COVID-19. Okay. Secondly, it has been provided that a human-to-human transmission is there, so we need to protect the vulnerable group, and mortality has been very much low. So basically, what we need to do, we don't need to be very much panicked, but at the same time, we need to target the risk communities. Fine, basically the community engagement needs to be restricted, case detection needs to be increased, isolation needs to be increased, then the tracking of the people who come in the contact, and all these particular things. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that for the monkeypox, the vaccine that used to treat the smallpox, that was used, but guys, as the smallpox got eliminated in most of the countries, so therefore even that particular vaccine is now not being manufactured. But now again, the countries are procuring the vaccine for the smallpox, and even the dedicated vaccine for the monkeypox. For that, the research has also begun. So that is all about this particular article, and now let's move to the next article. Now guys, moving on. language as a barrier. Okay, so this particular article, guys, we are going to use with respect to the GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2 education, as well as GS paper number 1, GS paper number 1 linguistic, just a minute, language related developments, language related developments. So GS paper number 2 education and language related developments, GS paper number 1, we are going to see this article. So before going in this particular article, let's discuss some of the background information as what this article is talking about. So guys, recently the Home Minister has announced this particular thing, that we need to focus on providing the higher education in the mother tongues, in the regional languages. He has emphasized that the law education, medical education, engineering education at the higher level needs to be provided into the regional languages, mother tongues. Basically, now this idea that has been proposed by the Home Minister, it is also going in line with the National Education Policy 2020, because National Education Policy 2020 has provided this particular thing, that the mother tongues and the regional languages needs to be promoted. Now guys, it is not only to be promoted as a part of a cultural assertion, but there is some another reason also. Understand this particular thing, that basically this thing has been proved that when the regional languages are used, then a person's thinking capabilities increases. Understand this particular thing, that when a person has been brought up, he has always been raised where the mother tongues have been used. Now let's say he is going into the school formal education, and suddenly, rather than the mother tongue, if the English is being used, then that particular person might not be able to catch up. So it has been said that using the mother tongue, using the local language in the education enhances the learning capability of a person. Moreover, the Home Minister said this particular thing, that the 95% of the students, they are receiving the primary education in their mother tongues, but suddenly then they come into the colleges, and in the colleging suddenly the English is being used, and in that particular thing they are not able to understand the complex issues, they are not able to connect with the complex issues which is impacting them. So therefore, using the regional languages, mother tongues into the higher education, it is a very important thing, and we need to develop on that particular front. Now in this particular direction, guys, already AICTE from the last year, it has allowed the engineering colleges that they can provide the engineering degrees in the regional languages. The 19 engineering colleges in 10 of the states, they have been allowed that they can run the engineering courses into the 6 Indian languages. Moreover, guys, the AICTE, it has also developed, now this is an important development, they have also developed the AICTE translation automation AI tool. Okay, now guys, just 2 days back, this particular article also came onto the page number 1. There also I had told you some of the major developments that had happened on this particular front. Okay, so this is also one, the AICTE translation automation AI tool, artificial intelligence tool. It automatically translates the English online courses in the 11 Indian languages. Is it clear? So this is something which has been used. Then there is a Swayam. Now what is this Swayam? Swayam is an open online course platform. Here the students can go and they can take the online education. Okay, and here the online courses are being provided into the regional languages. So these are some initiatives that have already been taken up in order to provide the education into the mother tongues. But guys, then the article says that, see, we don't need to be too much enthusiastic also about this particular thing, because the Tamil Nadu's example is there. Now Tamil Nadu, it is providing the engineering education into the Tamil medium from so much of a long time, but it has not brought any considerable impact. Much important impact has not come. Moreover, guys, in Tamil Nadu, the language has also become a political issue. Okay, it has been supported and it has been encouraged a lot, but actually something is not coming. Moreover, guys, the Home Minister had said this thing, that the law education is to be provided into the mother tongues, but before that we need to see that whether in the courts they can use these mother tongues or local languages or not, because the judiciary has not too much encouraged the use of Indian languages into the court proceedings. The English happens to be a major language in which the communications are done. Moreover, it has been said that rather than hastening in this particular process that we need to convert the books into the regional languages, mother tongues, we need to first of all understand that whether this particular thing is actually going to be fruitful or not. In this particular thing, the policy makers, educationists, fine, the civil societies, they need to come together. Moreover, there is also one more concern about using the regional languages in the higher education is that there is a very reduced, very less employability outside the region of that particular language. Let's say a person got graduated in engineering in Tamil, but outside the Tamil Nadu, the employability will be very much concerned. But guys, today we have moved in an era where there is a globalization, translocations of human resource from one part to another part is going on. So in that, whether having the engineering course done in a regional language is going to help or not, this is something we need to understand. Guys, we need to understand this particular thing, that there is a kind of an assumption that English is a foreign language, and by that particular thing the English is trying to be bypassed. But rather than understanding English to be a foreign language, we need to understand that India has a distinct advantage in terms of the English knowability. Our youth, they are very much fluent in speaking English, they have a very good command over the English, and this is something where we are able to give competition to countries such as China, Thailand, Vietnam. Okay, so we need to leverage this particular thing also at the same time. This is something that's there. So that is all about this particular article, guys. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Using a rupee route to get around a dominating dollar. Okay, this particular article we'll see with respect to the GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3. Fine. India's GS paper number 3, economic scenario in India. Even in GS paper number 2, international relation, India, China, we are going to see this particular, India, Russia, we are going to see this particular article. Now guys, basically the article says this thing that right now, first of all, India's rupee, it is on a depreciation. Rupee has basically depreciated. Today rupee is trading at more than 80 rupees, nearly 80 rupees actually per dollar. So this current geopolitical scenario where the Indian rupee has declined, India can take advantage of this particular situation. Now, what advantage India needs to take, we'll understand this issue in this particular article. So guys, understand this particular thing, that right now there is the hegemony of the US dollar in the entire world. We know that the US dollar is used for the international trade. Okay, so it has become a kind of a hegemonic currency. Now guys, when we talk about the Indian rupee, okay, so basically the Indian rupee's valuation in the Britisher times was actually linked with the British pound. Okay, fine, it was linked with the British pound. However, what happened, as the World War II ended, after the World War II, there was a neo-colonial currency that emerged. What is this neo-colonial currency? Dollar. See, before the World War II, the Britain was a kind of a superpower, and the British pound was a major currency. It was a colonial currency of that particular time. But after the World War II, the currency, the British pound, was replaced by a new currency that came, that is the US dollar. And over the period of time, majority of the international transactions, they started to happen into the USA. Even India's value, Indian rupee's value actually also started to be seen in front of dollar, not in front of pound, but in front of dollar. It became the principal measure of comparison, principal measure of evaluation. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that right now we see that the Indian rupee has declined. Now what is the reason for the decline of Indian rupee? The biggest reason is that the foreign portfolio investments that actually came in India in 2020. Now foreign portfolio investment simply means the foreign investors, they came with a lot of money in India, they invested into the Indian stock market. Because of this reason, actually the Indian stock market performed very good in 2020. But now guys, in 2022, what has happened? The Federal Reserve, that is the central bank of the USA, they have increased the interest rates. And because of that particular thing, the FPI that came in India in 2020, now this particular foreign portfolio investment is exiting out of India. And as they are exiting out of India, they need dollar for exit, and therefore they are demanding dollar. And when when the dollar's demand has increased, obviously in front of that the rupee got depreciated. So today the rupee is getting depreciated, and now guys, as the rupee is getting depreciated, clear, you see this particular thing, you also know this particular thing, that we import a lot of oil. Now when we import a lot of oil, obviously the money is to be paid them in terms of dollar. Now the dollar has become expensive, so the same volume of oil, even if we are exporting today, we need to pay extra for that particular thing. It is creating a lot of loss for India. India's current account deficit has actually increased. In this particular direction, guys, India has started doing one particular kind of India came out with a particular idea. The idea is that what India is now doing, India is showing an active interest that we will use our rupee for the trade. We will use the rupee for the trade, but actually who is going to accept the Indian rupee? The acceptability of Indian rupee is not there, but there is one country which will accept Indian rupee, that is Russia. Because guys, the Western countries, they have imposed the sanction onto the Russia. Russia needs certain partners. Nobody right now is ready to trade with the Russia. Only few countries are there in which the India is there. Moreover guys, the Russia had provided this facility to India, that okay, we can carry the trade into the rupee ruble arrangement. So when we are basically buying something from the Russia, we will pay to Russia into the rupee. That particular thing arrangement have been allowed by the Russia, and in this particular direction we are now buying the oil from the Russia by using the rupee. Moreover guys, not only the oil is there, but we have also procured the S-400 Triumph air defense system from Russia. Now on this particular issue also, we are trading onto the rupee by using the Vostro accounts, which have been maintained by the Russian banks in India. Now guys, Vostro account is a very simple concept. Okay, so basically guys, let's say that we want to trade with the Russia. Okay, now as we want to trade with the Russia, in between there will be an intermediary bank. We will provide the money to that intermediary bank. That intermediary bank will then transmit that particular money to the Russia, and Russia in return will send the supplies, oil, etc. So there is a Vostro account that is established where a foreign correspondent bank is enabled to become an agent. So we have already started this particular arrangement with the Russia. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that by using this particular arrangement, there are a lot of advantages that will come for India. Now let's understand these advantages one by one. Number one advantage is that guys, when we are basically buying oil in terms of the dollar, it is very much expensive. Why? Because today $1 has become 80 rupees. Is it clear? Now guys, understand this particular thing, that let's say our requirement of oil is the same, 10 liter per day. Let's say, just imagine, just an example, let's say our requirement of oil is 10 liter per day. Suppose earlier $1 was equal to 50 rupees. Okay, so for the 10 liter oil we were paying 500 rupees. Clear? Today the dollar's price in rupee, in front of rupee, has increased. Let's say today it has become 80 rupee. So today for the same 10 liter oil we have to pay 800 rupees. So 300 rupees extra we are paying just because the dollar's value has increased. Today dollar is at 80 rupees. It is impacting the Indian economy. When we are paying more for the oil is becoming expensive, and as oil is used into the transportation, today the transportation has become expensive, and the expensive transportation means inflation. The vegetables, milk, everything travels through the trucks, and when the diesel will become expensive, inflation will come. It will impact the Indian economy in the long run. And guys, if we directly use rupee, obviously many of the cost that has increased, it could be reduced. Moreover guys, when we are basically today, moreover, the ruble, that is the currency of the Russia, it has also been depreciated. So actually if we use the ruble which have got depreciated, we actually will get a oil virtually at a discount. Fine. So using the depreciated ruble, it is similar to getting a discount. So this is something that can be done. Moreover guys, when we will procure the Russian oil will also be cheaper to India, because because the transportation cost from Russia to India are low when compared to the transportation cost from other West Asian countries. Clear? This is something that has happened. So guys, it has been provided that all these opportunities are there. Now guys, at the same time there are certain hurdles, certain problems also that are in between. Now what are the hurdles? Hurdles is that basically as we are doing this particular transaction, number one is the private parties will not accept this particular thing. Let's say oil, gas we are buying from the Russian state agencies, not at all a problem. Suppose I want to import certain cars from Russia. I go to a car dealer in the Russia and I say that, okay, take my rupee. He might not accept the rupee. He might insist on to the dollars. So when the private party trade is there, with that, basically this particular transaction might become problematic. Is it clear or not? Exchange rate between the rupee and ruble, it is not very much stable. This is also one concern. Then guys, the next issue that comes here is that if we will do too much of the trade with the Russia, it will look as an indirect backdoor support to Russia and the USA will get irritated. Now see, the USA is also an important partner for India. We cannot irritate USA fine too much. Even we are the member of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. We are the member of the Quad. Are you getting it or not? We are also the member of I2U2. Now I2U2, it is called as the West Asian Quad. Okay, so we are engaging on USA on multiple fronts, and if we will give too much support to the Russia, it will look as a backdoor support to Russia, where India might suffer a little bit. Moreover guys, the next thing is that the current rupee ruble trade can be managed by initiating a push for Indian exports to Russia. Okay, because guys, this rupee ruble trade might become unsustainable, because as of now we are dependent too much on Russian oil, but from India the exports towards the Russia are less. So we need to push them so that a balance can be maintained between the Russia and India. Too much imbalance is not there between the two countries. So this is something that has been provided. So guys, these are all the issues, and not only we have discussed the editorial, but many of the sideline information that are actually important to make sense of this article, the filler points which are not there, I had also tried to explain you that. So that is all about it, and now we'll move to the next article. Government's own gig workers. Now this particular article guys talks about the government which is outsourcing the jobs. Now first of all, what do we mean by this particular word gig worker? Basically, the gig workers are those workers which are involved in freelancing agreements. The gig workers are those where the agreement between the employer and employee is not a permanent. The people are working on a contract basis. That is a gig work. Let's say I want some person that he should do X work for me. I will hire a person only for this particular work. Whenever this particular work will get over, the relation between me and the person that I have hired, that will also get over. Okay, so the worker will be the gig worker. Okay, so the gig workers are those who work, again I'll explain. Gig workers are those who work on temporary contract basis. Employments are not long term. The gig worker at the same time is allowed to work for so many of the people. Is it clear or not? So guys, today when we talk about the Swiggy people, Zomato people, these are the gig workers. Okay, why? Because they are not on a long-term engagement with the Swiggy. If they want to work for one day, they can do. If they want to work only for one order, they can do. So they are the gig workers. These are the temporary contractual workers that they are there. Now guys, government today is using a lot of gig workers. Okay, now meanwhile, sorry I forget, this particular article we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 2 employment in India, GS paper number 2 employment, as well as in GS paper number 3 the employability of the youth. Also this particular article can be used. Okay, now when we talk about today government, it is employing a large number of gig workers. Today guys, government, first of all, when we talk about the government employees, there could be three type of government employees. The permanent government employee, let's say you become an IAS officer, you will become a permanent government employee. Then there are the contractual employees, fine, who are basically brought on one particular contract. Now contract will be for a particular work or for a particular tenure. And then the daily wagers are the people who will be brought on for particular day, and their accounts will be settled on the day-to-day basis. Then guys, so today when we talk about the contractual jobs, these contractual jobs have increased a lot into the present times. Okay, into this particular contractual jobs, the government, what it is doing, government, it is providing their basically it is providing a lot of work to the outside contract workers. For example, the Safai Karamcharis are being employed fine for the sanitation work. The drivers and the conductors are being employed only for the contract or not onto the permanent jobs. Now there are actually the two main methods, two main ways to induct an employee on a contract. How? Number one, direct government can hire a person on a contract, let's say government signs with you a contract that okay, we are hiring you, you have to install the doors in one particular hospital. Okay, so this is one particular contract that has been given to you. So government can hire the people on a contract, fine, directly on the payroll of that particular organization. Or secondly, what government can do, government actually approaches a labor contractor. Now the labor contractor, they will be making the payment to the labor contractor. Labor contractor will provide the workers to the government, and it will be the labor contractor's responsibility to pay them and all those particular kind of things. So through the labor contractors and government directly are hiring the contractual workers. Now guys, basically when we talk about the contractual workers, while they are hired, it is because the costs are very much less in hiring the contractual workers compared to the permanent position. When you are hiring a permanent worker, many high cost will be there. You have to pay him provident fund, you have to pay him the employee state insurance plan, then there are many other paid leaves are to be paid to them, and maternal leaves are to be given. But in contractual jobs, such kind of things are not to be done. So therefore hiring the laborers onto the contractual, it is cost effective. Why? I told you already, non-payment. Moreover, in this particular thing guys, we have seen that when a person is being hired onto the contract, let's say government hired a person on contract from some labor contractor. Many times these labor contractors are not paying the salaries onto the time. Okay, many times the statutory deductions are being fudged, many times even the less wages are being paid, but that is not the burden of a government. Okay, moreover guys, we find this particular thing that today we find this particular thing that labor contract, basically there is also an uneven distribution of work vis-a-vis permanent employees. Okay, actually these contractual workers, they are being paid less, but a lot of work is being imposed on them. Now the assessment, basically the article says this particular thing that the government has hired the people onto the contract and they have missed one particular opportunity. What opportunity they have missed? Number one, the capacity augmentation of the government has been reduced. Guys, see, when you hire a person on a long-term contract base, on a long-term job, on a permanent job, that particular person, as there is a permanence, he will learn a lot of skills, and by learning that particular skill, he will be contributing more valuably to an organization. Today the government, their capacities have been restricted. Why? Because a permanent employee which could have brought with a lot of experience, they are missing. Moreover, understand this particular thing that the government, state PSUs, government, they are not only about efficiency, they also focus on creating the employment. So government jobs have been a source of an employment, but when the permanent jobs are not being provided, when the contractual jobs are being provided, government's role of providing employment has also been reduced. Then the next thing that has come here is that guys, basically subject to the appropriate mode of engagement, the safeguards, okay, that aid to basically the safeguards that could have been provided to the workers. Okay, the safeguards in terms of the social security nets, the safeguards in terms of the retirement benefits that would have been provided to the people, and they would have been provided dignified life. Now these safeguards have been shifted on some external body, who? The labor contractor. But we know that these labor contractors are never providing them the benefit. Now guys, there is one good case study that has been explained in this, has been mentioned in this particular article. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, they had come out with the Urban Learning Internship program, the TULIP program. In this TULIP program, the city authorities, they are engaging the young workforce on a fixed term. Okay, on a fixed term, 3-year, 5-year term, they are appointing the people. So this is actually a kind of a good case study where there is an element of flexibility also, but a kind of a permanence is also there, because at least the 3-year, 5-year employment is being promised. Is it clear or not? Now the TULIP interns which will be brought, they will be working in the urban local bodies, smart cities, etc. Now guys, the article says this particular thing that, see, first of all, when we talk about the permanent jobs into the government, they are the most desirable things, but as they are not available, people are even ready to work onto the contract works for the government, and government is doing that particular thing. But when we talk about the contractual laborers, there is one particular issue in this particular dimension that comes. What's the issue? That these contractual workers, they are just being hired when the need is there affirmative action, reservations are not being used into these contractual laborers hiring. So that particular thing government seems to missing. We should not miss that particular thing. When we talk about the affirmative action, it has been a very important part of the government's welfare policies, and in that capacity, even if you are hiring people on contractual contracts, there also the affirmative action needs to be there. So guys, the article provides this particular thing that, see, we have brought a lot of workers in the government through gig route. Fine, we are hiring them on temporary contracts, but at the same time adequate safeguards needed to be there, and this contractual worker mode needs not to be a principal mode. Fine, this is something that is there. Now we'll move to the next article, working towards animal health. Now guys, this article is very important article with respect to the GS paper number 2, issues related to health. Fine, very good article and a very important article actually. So basically, and a lot of fact has been given here which can directly be used in your answer. So please focus here. So article explains this particular thing that, see, today the health of animal and the health of human are not isolated. So today there is a collaboration that is needed between the veterinary sciences and between the human health experts. Now let's understand this particular concept, and guys, this concept is actually called as the concept of one health. Now let's understand this. So basically, when we talk about the India, we have large number of livestock population. We have large number of cattle, cows, buffaloes in the India. Okay, so livestock population is around 1.6 billion. Okay, so more than the man, we have the livestock in India. Basically 280 million farmers, they rely on these livestock, cattle, etc. for their livelihood. Moreover guys, when we talk about the valuation of these livestock, find the dairy industry in India, its value is around $160 billion, which is huge. So the valuation of Indian dairy industry is around $160 billion. Meat industry's value is around $50 billion, which is very much huge. When we talk about the livestock are very important in order to ensure the livelihood of the farmers. Guys, when we talk about the climate change that is coming, in the climate change many of the crops are failing, and when the crops fail, the farmers, they will rely onto the livelihood can support the income of the farmer. Moreover guys, here it has been provided that actually the livelihood, they act as a insurance on hoofs. Now what is hoof? Hoof are the feet of the animal. Okay, so it has been said that livelihood are the insurance on hoofs for the farmer, because they will support a farmer when the crops have failed, when the climate change is coming. So they play a very important role. Guys, so it means that we cannot eliminate the livestock sector. It is very much important. But at the same time, today when we see, there are many of the outbreaks, disease outbreaks that are happening. Basically, there have been 9,580 outbreaks of the diseases between 2000 to 2010. And 60% of these diseases outbreak were the zoonotic outbreaks. Zoonotic outbreaks means that these diseases, they outbreaked in some animal. Okay, so basically you now see that India's livestock sector, 1.6 billion animals we are having, and as the zoonotic diseases are increasing, it means that many of the diseases that are outbreaking in animal, those diseases can they can be transmitted to the humans. So therefore we need to take care of the health of the animal first. If we take the health of the animal, if we take the care of the animal's health, then the human's health will be taken care of automatically. Is it clear? So this is something that has been provided. Now the article also provides that the zoonotic diseases, it translates into an annual loss of $12 billion to the economies. Fine, this is a problematic thing. So therefore now we need to make sure that we focus on one health concept. We need to focus on one health concept. The veterinary sciences and the human health experts need to come together in this particular direction. The Department of Animal Husbandry, it is doing some very good work. So basically the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, DAHD, it has prepared one health unit. It has prepared this one health unit. Now what is this one health unit? This one health unit has been prepared in collaboration with the Gates Foundation, which is supported by the Bill Gates, and they are focusing onto the areas that how the animal pandemic preparedness can be worked upon, how we can identify some of the diseases that might break into the animals which have a possibility to go into the humans, how to tackle on that particular thing. Moreover, they are collecting the data, they are are collecting the information onto the livestock health, and this particular information is being collected through the National Digital Livestock Mission. Only because when we have the information, the data about the animal's health, then that particular data can be ensured to make sure that no spillover effect onto the human health is actually going on, because we interact too much with the animals through the livestock, through the meat consumption, through the dairy consumption, etc. So animals health needs to be checked from time to time. Now guys, the article is saying that basically a successful animal pandemic preparedness model template is needed in India. Is it clear? And this particular thing is going to be very much important in preparing vaccines, in preparing the timely, in taking the timely steps and all these particular kind of things. So basically today we need to create an ecosystem where the pathogen prioritization, okay, pathogen prioritization is there. Fine, pharma companies needs to be brought together, vaccine research, Indian pharma companies all can come together and can work on this particular One Health concept. Fine, basically World Organization for Animal Health, Global Alliance for Vaccine, fine, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all these organizations needs to be brought together, and they need to focus not only onto the human health, they also need to focus on animal health, and One Health concept needs to be prioritized, and only these particular things are needed in order to avoid the future pandemics that might come. So this is something that is to be focused immediately. So guys, a very good article. Please do use these kind of dimensions in your answers. Very good one. So that's all about this particular article, and now let's move to the next article. Now, Bastar's wheel of justice grind exceedingly slow. So guys, this particular article is from the archive section. Now the archive section means that this article has already come, okay, and even we have discussed this particular article also. This article was published onto the March 2. Now guys, what this particular article is talking about, first of all, in this article much of a substance is not there. This article is talking about the Bastar, okay, this article is talking about the Bastar that is in the Chhattisgarh, that how they are the tribal people, they are suffering. So basically article says that actually during the COVID-19 pandemic, the court proceedings were suspended, and as the court proceedings were suspending, the people who have been arrested, they are suffering, they are languishing into the jail, their families are suffering because the people are languishing into the jail, the families are not able to take the bail for these people. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the tribal regions, poor regions, backward regions, regions where Naxalism is at prime, there large number of people from time to time are arrested just onto the suspicion. These people actually land up in the jail, and to release them from the jail, we needed that the judicial hearings needed to be very fast, judicial hearings need to be very swift. But actually this article mentions that during the time of a pandemic, the court proceedings were suspended, and because of that particular thing, fine, the arrested people, their families, they suffered a lot, particularly into the conflict regions. The speedy trial becomes very much important. Now what are the conflict regions in India? Region of Chhattisgarh, where the Naxalism is at very high. So into these regions, court proceedings should never be suspended. Guys, article has given the case study of the Bastar region, that is in Chhattisgarh. Now it has been said that into the Bastar region, Naxalite activity is very much high, and therefore whenever there is a Naxalite attack that happened, largely the tribal people are arrested onto the suspicion. And when these tribal people are arrested on suspicion, when it is said that they have participated into the Naxalite activities, then these Naxalite cases are investigated into the are tried into by the National Investigation Agency. Moreover guys, then the many draconian laws are applied on these people. For example, UAPA, Arms Act, Explosive Substances Act. Now in all these particular acts, unlawful activities prevention act, Arms Act, Explosive Substance Act, getting a bail is very much difficult, and when the court is not functioning, the bail for the tribal people who have been arrested, it becomes even more difficult. And when these people are not able to get a jail, what happened? They are languishing into the jail. Overcrowding in prisons happened, which into the Bastar prisons are very much overcrowded, hearings are suspended, all these issues they come. So therefore guys, it has been said that in no circumstances the court hearing should be avoided. Okay, so this is something that has been provided. However guys, apart from that, the cases of some of the tribals who got arrested, etc., are being discussed. That dimension is not at all important. Guys, see, you also needed to understand this particular thing, that in the articles what particular thing is important and what particular thing is not important. Clear? Now in this particular article, very less substance is there. One only case study of the Bastar region as how the people are getting suffered. This case study is only relevant substance. You don't need to go into the personal details, okay, that who got arrested, on what day he got arrested, how many days he spent into the jail. No, fine. So you need to be very selective in order to be efficient, in order to be a smart aspirant. Now moving to the next article. Iran has means to make atom bomb but no intentions of doing so. Now guys, this particular article we'll see with respect to the GS paper number 2, international affairs. So basically guys, when we talk about the Iran, okay, from the long time, the Western countries, particularly the USA, they had said that the Iran, it is going for the uranium enrichment. Okay, now guys, for the first time the Iran has admitted this particular thing, that today we have the means that we can enrich the uranium bomb, we have the technological capabilities that we can enrich the uranium bomb, but we don't have intention. Actually what has happened, the statement has been given by the Muhammad Islami. Now who's Muhammad Islami? Muhammad Islami is the head of the Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, and he had said that we have the means to make the atomic bomb, okay, but we are not having the intention of doing so. Now this is the first time that they have admitted this thing. Now guys, let's understand a little bit about this uranium enrichment process, that what it is and what actually the Iran is doing. So basically guys, when we talk about the uranium, so basically uranium is a radioactive substance. You might be knowing this particular thing also. However, if you don't know, uranium is a radioactive substance, but the natural uranium that is found, it has two of the isotopes in it. There is the uranium 235 and then there is the uranium 238. Now guys, when we talk about the uranium which is found into the nature, uranium 238, that is 99.3% of uranium, it has the U238 isotope. But U238 isotope is not desirable for basically if uranium is to be used for fuel, if the uranium is used to be for bomb, U238 is not desirable, which is actually 99.3%. Rather what we need the uranium 235 isotope. So into the natural uranium, what we will do, we will remove this U238 and we will enhance the value of this U235 by nature. Just 0.7% concentration of uranium 235 is there. So guys, you can see that if it is the total uranium that has been found, this purple one, this is the U235 isotope that is there. So what is the uranium enrichment? In the uranium enrichment, what we will do, we will reduce this U238 and we will increase this U235 isotope. Okay, now you can enrich the uranium to a particular percentage. Guys, if we enrich the uranium till 5%, if we enhance the U235 to 5%, this particular uranium is called as the low enriched uranium, and this uranium is used into the nuclear power plants. However, if you enhance a little bit more, if you enrich this uranium little bit more to 20%, if you increase the U235 to 20%, that is the highly enriched uranium fuel and used into the nuclear research reactors. And then if we increase the U235 to 90%, okay, if we increase this U235 to 90%, this becomes the war grade uranium, and this particular uranium can be used for creating the nuclear weapons. Now guys, what the USA had said from the last, that Iran is actually enriching their uranium at this particular level. They are trying to enrich their U235, they are trying to enrich their uranium 235 isotope to 90%, and by that they will make a nuclear bomb. Now guys, the international communities, they have provided that the Iran can enrich the uranium maximum to 3.67%. Iran can maximum enrich uranium to 3.67%. What uranium? U235. Okay, but actually the Iran has already enriched their uranium to 60%, and guys, actually moving from 60% to 90% doesn't take much of a effort. You just please focus on to this particular picture. Okay, actually 83.5% effort is needed to reach at 4%, but from 4% to reach at 20%, just 8.5% extra effort is needed, and to enhance from 20% to 90%, just 8% more effort is needed. needed. If they have reached to 60%, going to 90% is not a big deal for Iran. So Iran had said that they have today means to make the nuclear bomb, but they are not going to do that particular thing. They don't have the intentions. Now guys, in this particular background, because the Iran was enriching the uranium, in 2015 a joint comprehensive plan of action was signed with the Iran by the P5+1 countries. Is it clear or not? Particularly the USA. Fine, you need to remember that the USA was a major country which signed this joint comprehensive plan of action with the Iran. In this particular thing, it was said that the Iran has to limit their uranium enrichment to just 3.67%. Beyond that, they will not enrich their uranium. And if Iran will do that thing, the sanctions onto the Iran will be removed. Okay, so this 2015 joint comprehensive plan of action was a positive development, and Iran, they said that okay, we will not enrich our uranium. Iran opened up their nuclear facilities to the inspection also, that you can come and you can see. All the things were going good. But what happened? The Donald Trump, when he became the president, he pulled the USA out of this joint comprehensive plan of action, and this joint comprehensive plan of action got cancelled. And after that, Iran is again enriching this uranium, and USA has again imposed the sanctions on that Iran again. Now when the Joe Biden was coming up to become the president, at that point of a time it was expected that the Joe Biden might again revive this joint comprehensive plan of action, but nothing has happened. The deal is still pending, and the Iran is saying that we today have all the means to develop this nuclear bomb, but we might not make it, which is something which has happened. So that is all guys about this particular article, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I hope that you have understood this particular thing. Okay, I hope that you have understood this particular thing, and you are able to now connect the dots and understand this particular thing, that just reading a newspaper, it is not an important thing, but in order to make sense of the newspaper articles, it is very much important. And I hope that you understood it. Now we will be meeting tomorrow. Till then guys, please take care of yourselves. Please do keep on revising. Please do read it very diligently, and please download this explainer PDF. The PDF that I have used here, please download it from Telegram channel, and also please join our Telegram. Fine. Okay guys, thank you, and in case if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button, and please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Take care.